Welcome to Super Showdowns, the ultimate destination for epic battles and legendary showdowns. Join us as we put iconic superheroes, villains, and mythological figures against each other in thrilling matches of strength, strategy, and skill. The winds howled through the great halls of Asgard as Odin sat upon his gilded throne, his single eye piercing through the mist of time. The threads of fate trembled before him, whispering secrets only he could decipher. A storm was coming, one not of his making. The name of the storm? Kratos. The Ghost of Sparta had carved a bloody path through the realms, leaving shattered gods in his wake. First, it was Olympus, where Zeus Poseidon and Hades fell to his unrelenting rage. Then, the Norse realms, where Baldur, Magni, and Modi perished beneath his blades. Even Thor, the Thunderer, had been sent to the afterlife in a battle that shook Yggdrasil itself. Now, there was only one left. Odin had spent centuries shaping destiny, ensuring Ragnarok unfolded on his terms. But Kratos was an anomaly, a force unbound by prophecy, a god-killer who defied the natural order. The All-Father knew that if he did not act, his reign over the 9 realms would end in blood. With a flick of his fingers, a swirling vortex of golden energy formed before him. From its depths emerged Heimdall, the ever-watchful guardian of Asgard. "He approaches," Odin said, his voice calm yet resolute. Heimdall sneered. "Let him come. If the oaf could barely handle Thor, he stands no chance against you." Odin chuckled, amused by Heimdall's arrogance. "You underestimate him, boy. That is why you are dead in every future I have seen." The guardian stiffened, but before he could protest, Odin dismissed him with a wave. His mind was already elsewhere, calculating, planning. He would not fight Kratos as Thor did, with brute force and reckless fury. No, Odin would wield the one weapon Kratos could not overcome: knowledge. Beyond the Bifrost, the skies darkened. Snowflakes turned to embers as Kratos and Atreus crossed the Rainbow Bridge. The air itself seemed to grow heavier, thick with unseen magic. Kratos could feel it, a presence watching, waiting. Atreus, gripping his bow, glanced at his father. "Are you sure about this?" Kratos exhaled, his massive chest rising and falling like the tide. "I have no choice." They had tried to avoid this confrontation. Kratos had sought peace, a life free of divine war, but the gods never let him rest. Odin's ravens had followed him for years, whispering in the wind.
Hey you, don't just watch. Subscribe please.
Plucking at the edges of his patience. And when Odin sent his final warning, an offer of peace in exchange for submission, Kratos knew there was no avoiding what came next. As they stepped onto the golden bridge, leading to Valhalla's gates, a figure materialized from the mist. Freya, once a bitter enemy, now a reluctant ally. The former queen of the Vanir eyed Kratos with suspicion. "You have no idea what you are walking into." Kratos did not stop. "Then tell me." She hesitated. "Odin is unlike any foe you faced. He does not fight with strength. He fights with lies, with fate itself. If you face him, you may win the battle, but he will win the war." Kratos' grip on the Leviathan axe tightened. "Then I will kill him before he can wage one." Freya sighed, stepping aside. "Then may the gods have mercy on you." But Kratos knew the truth. The gods never had mercy on him. The doors to Odin's great hall swung open with a thunderous boom. The light of the realm eternal bathed Kratos in a golden glow as he stepped forward, his boots echoing through the chamber. Atreus stood beside him, his bow drawn, his fingers twitching with anticipation. Odin sat upon his throne, one leg draped over the other, an almost amused expression on his face. "So, you're the one who has caused all this trouble." His voice was smooth, measured, as if speaking to a wild animal rather than a warrior. Kratos said nothing. He only took another step forward. Odin chuckled. "Not much for words, I see. But let's not be brutes about this. Why fight when we can talk?" Atreus clenched his jaw. "We've heard your lies before." Odin sighed. Lies? No, boy. I offer knowledge. I offer peace. Surely you must be tired of this endless war. His gaze shifted back to Kratos. How many gods must die before you realize there is no end to this? Kratos' expression did not change. One more. The room fell silent. Then Odin smiled. A cold, knowing smile. Very well. But know this, Ghost of Sparta. By the end of this battle, it will not be me who loses the most. As Odin raised his hand, the air shimmered. The walls of Asgard twisted, morphing into a labyrinth of shifting illusions and hidden truths. Kratos felt the weight of the All-Father's power pressing down upon him, distorting reality itself. The battle had begun. A deep hum vibrated through the throne room as Odin's magic bent reality itself. The golden walls of Asgard blurred, shifting like liquid, reshaping into endless pathways that stretched into the void. Shadows twisted into monstrous forms, whispering in tongues older than the realms. Kratos felt the weight of Odin's power pressing against his mind, an unseen force clawing at his thoughts, trying to unravel him. It was an illusion, but illusions held power when one doubted their own reality. Atreus staggered, gripping his head. "Father, something's wrong." Odin stepped forward, his form rippling like smoke. "You have spent lifetimes fighting ghosts, Kratos. But tell me, what happens when you fight your own?" The room twisted. Suddenly, Kratos was no longer in Asgard. He was in Greece. The ruins of Olympus lay before him. The sky was blackened with storm clouds, streaked with red lightning. Blood dripped from his hands, the blood of Zeus.
Hey you, don't just watch. Subscribe please.
The lifeless body of the king of the gods lay at his feet. But something was wrong. A voice rang out behind him. "You murdered me." Kratos turned. It was Calliope. His daughter stood there, her innocent eyes filled with sorrow. Behind her, Lysandra, his wife. And beyond them, the ghost of Sparta, the innocents slaughtered by his rage. They all spoke at once. Murderer, monster, destroyer of gods. The weight of their words crashed down on him. A storm of memory, of guilt, of pain. Odin was using his past against him. "No!" Kratos growled, gripping his head. The vision swirled, growing stronger. His knees buckled. Odin smiled. "You have fought gods, but you cannot fight your own soul. This is how you fall, Ghost of Sparta. Not by my hand, but by your own sins." The walls of reality closed in. The illusion threatened to consume him. But Kratos had spent lifetimes suffering. This was nothing new. His fist clenched. He had been bound in chains, lost in torment, dragged through the depths of Hades. He had felt this pain before, and every time he rose, a deep, guttural growl rumbled from his throat. Enough. A sudden, blinding wave of rage exploded from his body. Spartan Rage. The illusion shattered like glass. The voices fell silent. The ruins of Greece dissolved into golden light. And Kratos was back in Asgard. Odin's face twisted in surprise. Impossible. Before he could finish, Kratos was already moving. Kratos launched forward with inhuman speed. The Leviathan axe swung through the air, a frozen streak of death. Odin barely dodged, teleporting in a burst of golden light. Kratos spun, catching him mid-dodge. Bam! A devastating punch to the ribs sent Odin flying across the hall, crashing through a golden pillar. The All-Father grunted, but barely had time to recover before Kratos was upon him again. The blades of chaos snapped forward like vipers, wrapping around Odin's arm. With a mighty heave, Kratos pulled Odin off his feet and slammed him into the ground. The impact shook all of Asgard. Odin coughed, wiping blood from his lips. His expression remained calm, but his eye burned with fury. "You think brute strength will win you this war?" Odin flicked his hand. Runes ignited in the air. A blinding blast of golden energy erupted from his palm, slamming into Kratos' chest. The force sent him skidding back, his boots grinding against the floor. The air crackled as Odin summoned the full power of Asgard. Lightning struck. Shadows moved. The realm itself twisted in his grasp. Odin raised both hands. The energy of the cosmos gathered at his fingertips. Raw creation and destruction. With a snarl, he hurled it at Kratos, a blast powerful enough to erase mountains. Kratos did not move. Instead, he raised his axe. Boom! The energy struck, but the Leviathan axe drank it in, absorbing Odin's magic like a starving beast. Frost crawled to the golden light, twisting it, freezing it. Kratos gritted his teeth, muscles flexing as he redirected the force. And then, with a roar, he hurled it back. Odin barely had time to react. The frozen blast struck him dead center, encasing him in ice. The All-Father gasped, struggling to break free. His magic flared, but the frost was unrelenting. The power of the Leviathan axe, infused with the cold of Jotunheim, bound him in place. Kratos walked forward, slowly, deliberately. His red tattoos glowed in the firelight. His eyes were cold, merciless. Odin gritted his teeth. "You don't have to do this. You have killed enough." Kratos said nothing. Odin growled, "You will regret this, Spartan." Kratos lifted the Leviathan axe, staring down at the god beneath him. "No, you will." With a mighty swing, Kratos brought the axe down, cleaving through Odin's chest, splitting him open from shoulder to waist. Blood and divine essence erupted into the air. Odin gasped, his one eye widened in shock. The All-Father, the king of Asgard, was dead before he hit the ground. A silence fell over Asgard. The magic in the air faded. The shifting illusions collapsed. The skies of the realm eternal turned dark. Kratos stood over the fallen body of the last Norse god. His grip on the axe tightened for a moment, and then slowly he let out a breath. Atreus stepped forward, his eyes filled with disbelief. "It's over?" Kratos looked up, his face unreadable. "It is never over." Asgard trembled beneath their feet. The death of Odin had set something in motion. Ragnarok had come and gone, but fate still stirred. Kratos turned away from the body of the All-Father, his mind already moving toward what lay ahead. Because even now, in the silence, he knew the gods never stayed dead for long. The end